Hey guys, so today's video is going to be for a class project of mine, and the project I've chosen to work on is going to be to talk about the inequality of women in sports. And within the topic of sports, I'm going to be relating it to Airsoft because it pertains to me and this channel. So to start off, I'm just going to bring up a couple of examples that I've seen of inequality for women in Airsoft. At one point during one of our class discussions, someone had brought up the fact that sometimes in sports women get handicaps. I think the example that was brought up in class was that when a girl scored a basket in basketball, it's going to be worth more points than when the male shot it. And similar to this in Airsoft, I've had this in the past where girls are allowed to be hit more times. Normally in Airsoft or paintball, you're only allowed one hit and then you're out. But when I've airsofted with larger groups in the past, they've given the girls a better chance by allowing them more hits. And I don't know that that's necessarily a bad thing, but I think it's just kind of degrading to the women that are playing because I think they're just as capable as the men. Another instance of inequality that I've seen is not allowing women to participate. In the past, when our neighborhood has gotten together to do big airsoft events, a lot of the guys didn't want the girls to play just because they were girls. They just didn't think that they were capable, but that's obviously not true. The third and final example of inequality I have for you guys today is the one that actually made me want to do this project in the first place. That example is going to be some of the comments I've received on a couple of the videos I've put up. The videos I'm referring to are going to be the videos that I've actually filmed us playing Airsoft. And in some of those videos where we've gotten a bunch of people together to play and we filmed them, some of my female friends have also participated. And on those videos that the women are featured in, there's a lot of negative comments in the feed below. And a lot of those comments were to the effect of, why are you letting girls play Airsoft? Or girls playing Airsoft, that just seems wrong. That bothered me a little bit and made me want to do this project to be able to address the topic. Another thing I wanted to talk about today is how these instances of inequality are perpetuated. And in the world of Airsoft or paintball, when you go to buy new equipment, you usually see a picture of it modeled in some way. But occasionally the gun or equipment's not the only thing being modeled. Yeah, sometimes there's other things on display as well. So when you see stuff like this that is relative to the sport but overly sexualizes women or objectifies them, I think that does a lot of harm to how we perceive women and their ability to participate in sports like these. When you see a girl in a bikini holding a rifle, that's not exactly what you see as someone going out to go play the sport. It's not exactly practical. Instead, you're seeing them as an object that's not capable of participating. So that's just one example of something that I think is perpetuating these ideas. Another thing that perpetuates it is if you see an injustice happen and then don't do anything about it. If you let instances of injustice go unchecked, then they're not going to stop happening. So that brings me to the final thing I want to talk about today, and that's going to be what can we do to fix the problem or even maybe begin to change it. As I mentioned earlier, one of the things you can do is simply speak up when something like this happens. If you find yourself in a situation like one of the examples I said earlier, or something that you think is an injustice, then one of the things you can do that's pretty simple is just speak up and say, hey, that's not okay. In some cases that can take a lot of courage to do, so I understand it's pretty difficult to be able to speak up like that. But at the very least, and the second thing I want to bring up is that you at least start to recognize these things and acknowledge their existence. These instances of inequality are happening all the time. If we can at least start to acknowledge that they are happening and internalize that that's not a good thing, and that will start paving the way to an environment where these inequalities are frowned upon, and hopefully towards an environment where women are also seen as equals. That's about all I have for you guys today. I'm just going to leave you with a couple closing statements. I had a couple of questions I just want to pose for you guys. Number one, have you guys seen any inequalities like the ones I talked about, or maybe some of your own? Number two, if you guys see any inequalities like that in the future, what would you do to stop it? But really the biggest thing I want you to take away from the video is that you acknowledge when these instances of inequality are happening. Only then can we start working towards a better environment. So yeah, that's all I've got for you guys today. I really appreciate you guys watching this video. As always, if you guys have any comments or questions, maybe pertaining to the questions asked in the video or anything else I brought up, feel free to post them down below. It'll help a lot. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So I will see you guys in the next video.